Good evening, and welcome to my third part of my series on paganism, witchcraft, and Wicca. Today, I'd like to talk about the witch's altar, how important it is, its necessary uses, and how it should be used for ritual, ceremony, festivals, and full moons. The altar is always positioned somewhere safe in your home, so people can, or if you prefer, cannot view it. Make sure all of your tools, your consecrated tools, are safely put away from the gaze of those that do not understand, especially so people do not touch any of your sacred consecrated items. My personal altar is in my home, which is decorated and changed seasonally to suit that time of the year. I always have a candle burning in respect of the ancient ones, and usually upon awakening, light the candle and some incense and meditate for however long I feel is appropriate. Whether it's been 10 minutes or an hour, it doesn't matter. It depends on the time that I have to spare, but I always give a moment to the ancient ones, my ancestors, and to my faith. An altar is very personal and should not be too low or too high or too grand or massive. You shouldn't have to bend down to it or too high that you've got to lean across it, knocking your tools over. The perfect altar should be the width of your arms wide and no deeper than you can safely reach. It should be as high as your waist, and if possible, have two levels. The bottom level, representing everything in nature that is physical, and the top level, the higher level, representing the invisible within the visible, the spirit within the physicality. Other words, the spirit of all life, thus representing the ancient ones. Flanking each side should be an altar candle. On the west side should be a black candle representing the feminine spirit, the goddess, and the moon. And in the east, a white candle representing the masculine spirit, the haunted god, and the sun. In the center, at the back, it would be nice to have a statue of your chosen deity that you have selected to follow, your goddess and haunted god. And also behind them, I have what we call the spirit candle, which is a stag head and antlers with a red candle in the center, which is the spirit candle. Everything else is personal. I always like to have fresh flowers if possible, and usually once a week put flowers on my altar. My mother always had a living plant in the center of her shrine with a statue of the Virgin Mary. In the middle, this was her goddess. The altar can also be made of anything you want. Oak is preferable, but not a requirement, as it is better to choose a local wood in your area that grows naturally. It is always nice to have an altar cloth on the altar as well. Different colors for different seasons or times of the year or different lunations. Again, it is personal choices that make your altar as grand as you wish or as simplistic, but always, always respectful. So let's look at the altar cloth. These days, you can buy altar cloths at most occult or New Age stores. Azure Green has a massive variety at good prices, but it is preferred that you try to make your own if possible. All you need is the right colored fabric, some nice trim to place around the outside of the altar cloth. And if you are artistic, you can even hand paint designs or pictures on the cloth as well. I find it beneficial to have several altar cloths for differing uses, such as for the full moon's altar cloth, I traditionally like it to be white with silver. For new moon altar cloth, red or black with silver. Other altar cloths are for the summer solstice, reds and golds, winter solstice, whites and greens, autumnal equinox, browns and oranges or russets, spring equinox, multicolors, Samhain, black with orange, Imbolc, white or grey, Lughnasadh, all earthy colors, and for Beltane, red. In all honesty, the shape, style, and color of your altar cloth are all personal choices, and you may make them as simple or as elaborate as you desire. Your altar is your altar, and the gods and goddesses will love it, appreciate you, respect you, and visit you. Because if they know your heart is true and sincere, dedicated, and respectful. Let's look at the altar candles. Altar candles are very important spiritually as they represent the light of the goddess and god. The goddess candle is always placed on the west side of your altar and should be black if appropriate, representing the night and women's mysteries of the night, where the light of the full moon shines her light upon us in the darkest hours, showing us that light conquers all darkness. The god altar candle is on the east of the altar and is white. They are just a simple 7 to 9 hour tapered candle and should be anointed and new every time you commence it with a new day. Ceremony, Esbit, or Sabbath is important, but all your candles must be anointed and consecrated. Never use an old candle as each altar candle must be anointed and blessed for the purpose that it is meant to be for. 2 altar candles should never change color and must remain the same colors. Again, it is best if you can make your own candles if you have that skill. The spirit altar candle is different. The spirit flame or spirit candle is the central flame that all other lights are lit from them. It is traditionally carried into the magic circle by the horse or the man in black, as a symbol as the strength of the coven and keeper of the sacred flame of the clan. This candle represents the light of all the covenants. It is the essence of light drawn from the solar light of the sun. It is masculine in essence, and when the hearth fire is lit, it becomes a beacon to the ancient ones, to the fae, to the ancestors, and to all those who seek the knowledge of the craft. When carried into a magic circle, it is done ceremonially. It is already ceremonially lit by the man in black, who is the principal ritualist under the clan mother and clan father. He is also the keeper of the law within the clan, affectionately called by us the Coven Cop. He walks into the magic circle and carries the flame in front of himself with arms outstretched as a symbolic gesture, and slowly walks around the circle 3 times, where he presents it to the center of the circle and to the sun, and then continues walking around the altar and lights the altar candles. He lights the goddess candle first, visualizing a beam of light coming down. As he lights the goddess candle, he says, "May the light of the goddess illumine this candle as a symbol of the great mother and the great horned god. Let her be with us in our sacred temple, to watch over us and illumine our circle and our souls with their divine light, which is from her heart and his heart of hearts." The man in black then lights the gold candle, or the god candle of the east of the altar, and again visualizes a beam of light descending and lighting the candle as he touches the flame to it and says, "May the light of the radiant horned god illumine the candle as a symbol that the horned god is with us in our sacred temple, to watch over us and illumine our circle and our souls with his divine light, which is from his heart of hearts." He then stands above the altar and says, "Above, below, as within, so without." He then lights them, and all candles are lit around the circle. He then places the spirit candle in the center of the altar, but at the back, ready to light the hearth fire when needed, and also the akashic candles of the 4 quarters. If you're looking at altar candles, although you have the altar candles, you still have a statue of the goddess and god at the back of the altar, and if possible, at a higher level than everything else. I have many different statues of different ancient ones, of different pantheons, as I always tend to honor all deities at different times and rituals. The goddess statue is at the center of the altar or at the rear, but higher and to the west, and the god statue is to the rear at the east. If you don't have these statues, then get candles made that represent the goddess and god to you. I always place my altar candles aside each statue on the outer of the altar to illumine the statues. But if you do not need to have statues, if you so desire, and many people do not acknowledge the physical representations of a human-looking deity as goddess and god, as they prefer seeing the goddess and god from within. So this is important for you to understand, as there's many aspects of them. The other things that people have on their altars are the ceremonial tools. To the back of the altar, the north, you would have your pentacle, and on your pentacle, you would have a small amount of earth or rock salt. To the east, you would have your thurible. Thurible, which is lit with incense. Your thurible is your incense burner that you thurifies your circle. To the west, you would have your chalice of water, and you would have it ready to prepare for the consecration of the circle. And at the front of your altar, you would have your fire candle, representing the element of fire and the south energies of the heart. This is all you basically need on your altar. Everything else is just grandiose. Have your altar simple and clean. And when you make your robes or wear your robes, try not to have long flowing sleeves, because every time you reach across something, you have the chance of either burning it, knocking things over, or causing harm, especially when working with flames or open flames. I hope you've enjoyed this little talk about the altar and what is required. If there's any more questions, or if anybody has any details or anything they'd like to ask me, or if you'd like to find out anything, please send me a message and I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. I wish you all the very best. I hope you're enjoying my small series on paganism, witchcraft, and Wicca. And this is part 3. My name is Tamara Von Forslun, and I'm the matriarch of the Clan of Boskednan. All these things that I'm teaching you in these classes can be learned in grander scale through our clan courses, our Seeker course. If interested, again, just message us and we will get back to you as soon as possible. If I am indeed wise, I do not bid you enter the house of my wisdom, but rather lead you to the threshold of your own mind. Blessed be.